We have a strong discussion to discuss today. What am I doing on Grok? I'll give it a Grok. We have a strong discussion to have today. We had this discussion yesterday, but I kind of brushed on it because I didn't, we're already in the GTA Online challenge run, and I didn't really want to divert from that. So I initially thought I would make a video, like a separate video on the topic, but I really don't know how to even address the situation. So I think I'm just gonna go off the dome here, straight off the top of my head, no scripts, nothing. Just give you guys my raw and filtered opinion on, the situation going on in gaming at the moment, and what the future of gaming looks like it's going to be for, the consumer most of the time, because at the end of the day, the consumers are the ones that matter. We matter more than anything. We matter than the investors, because at the end of the day, we make the investors, see what's interesting about any product or any publisher or any company for them to actually invest in. So we are the most important people in every business. But unfortunately, we are not treated as such. The consumers are not treated as though they are important in when it comes to decision makings and stuff like that. I think the consumers always come last when it comes to the decision makings in the space of any company. It's not even just gaming, we're talking any company in general nowadays. Now you may be asking, what am I talking about? Obviously I'm talking about the decision Sony and PlayStation, I mean Sony is PlayStation, so the decision that Sony has made that they're not going to be producing any more physical discs or physical media for their games as at 2028, and that's 2 years from now, or basically a year from now, because we're basically getting very close to 2027. And this has sparked a lot of conversation. A lot. When I say a lot of conversation, there is videos on YouTube, there is everything, Twitter conversation, X conversations, Reddit. Everyone's talking about it. I think even Trevor Noah every single person. I think there was even a France presidential candidate that was talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. It's very, very, very big. And I mean, today's news trending: Sony announces end of physical disc production for new PlayStation games. There is, I don't even know where to begin. I really don't know where to begin. First of all, my take on this whole thing is just why? Why would you? I can understand why they're doing it, in the sense of they're doing this for profit. That's the obvious reason. If you read their post, let's see if we can find their post actually. Yeah, this is the post. This is basically, let's see if we can get the post up here. This is basically the post. It's basically just finances. It's gonna be somewhere. There's gonna be a financial situation somewhere. PlayStation acquired January 2028. Natural trend digital whatever. There's gonna be a financial somewhere. But it's always financial. It's always a financial reason as to why companies make these types of decisions. And the reason Sony has given is that digital media has significantly outpaced physical disc. That's still not a solid reason. The reason a lot of people switch from PC to console is because of the existence of physical media. It's because they can actually get their games and put it on a disc and play it on the console. That's why most people do switch from PC to console, because if that's the case, at the end of the day, why would I choose to switch from PC and go to console while I can still have digital digital games, if not for maybe exclusive games? Because on PC, you get those games for cheaper. You get them, in a more controlled environment. If Steam doesn't have it, you can get it on GOG, you can get it on Epic Games, you can get it on everywhere. there's a lot more storefronts on PC when it comes to actually purchasing games as compared to console. So a lot of people do switch to console because of that, convenience of having the physical disc. That convenience of, oh, if I can't get the game on PlayStation Store, I can go to my Best Buy. I can go to Walmart. I can go to, the next retailer. I can get it from a friend. I don't even need to buy it. I can borrow it from a friend. I can get the game lended to me and then, play the game. So that convenience makes console a very, very attractive proposition. So to remove that aspect from your devices in a short period of time, this comes directly a week after Rockstar announces that GTA 6 is not going to have a digital version. And some may be asking, did Rockstar know this? I think Rockstar knew this, but I don't know if it was if they were in cahoots, to make this decision, but I really don't know how and why PlayStation have come to this decision, because even if you wanted to maybe reduce the amount of physical media that was being produced, that'd be understandable. If you want to say digital games are outpacing physical games, and you want to reduce the amount of physical games being made, because at the end of the day it does cost a lot of resources for them to make physical games and physical media, it's understandable. It's understandable if you want to cut that down by whatever percentage you want to cut that down by. But to remove it entirely it's absolutely bonkers. It really is. And as I said, there's been so much conversation going out on this whole topic. But one thing I wanted to say is, it's not going to get better. The disc prices and the digital prices. Let's talk about the digital prices first. The prices of digital games are not going to get better. You would think they're going to get better, because keep in mind, it costs them significantly less to make digital games as compared to making physical games. So you would think, okay, digital games are going to be the new norm. They're going to be what, is going to be the new standard. So it means digital games are going to the cost for digital games are going to come down. It's not going to come down, because already physical games and digital games cost almost the same thing, which should not be the case. You should not be pricing what you spent more resources on to make the same as what you didn't. They didn't spend the resources to put digital games on PlayStation Store. So if a game is going for $70 real time, physical media, I'm getting the game for $70. I should not be getting it for the same amount on digital. On the PlayStation Store, I should be getting it for less. But it's the same thing. And this is even with the physical media out there. It's the same amount, it's the same price for both. So I would not be surprised if we even get price hikes in, the digital media being out there. I would not be surprised if we do see that happening. Because again, all these things are made with a financial point of view in mind. They're not thinking of the consumer. They're not thinking about anything. They're really not thinking about anything when it comes to this. But then again, they've thought about this. They knew that this was going to be the reaction. They knew that everyone was going to. I think they expected the backlash. And for people saying that they might change their decision, I don't think they will. I really don't think they will, because at this point in their development cycle, or business meetings, quarterly meetings, whatever it's called, fiscal years, they've already calculated how much they're going to make from the PlayStation 6 potentially. I'm sure they've already, green-lighted the design of the PlayStation 6, and I'm 100% sure the PlayStation 6 is going to be a fully digital console. There's not gonna be a disk drive for you to put a CD in. It's gonna be a fully digital console, and I'm sure they've greenlit the design for the PS6 already. They sat on this decision for a while, I'm sure, and I think they needed a conduit to basically get this information out. I think that conduit was Rockstar, announcing the pre-orders for GTA 6. I think when they saw the, backlash wasn't too much for Rockstar, they announced it and then they've just gone dark. I think Sony are gonna go dark for a while on this topic, on this situation, because the backlash we've seen from this decision alone is massive. Absolutely massive. I don't think I've seen a backlash on Sony, especially when it comes to the PlayStation, in a while. In a while. It's honestly very, very bad. And apparently they're also increasing the prices of PlayStation Plus. It just keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse. They're apparently about to increase the amount, the subscription fee for PlayStation Plus. So again, it's just bad decision after bad decision, basically wiping out physical media, and then now you're going to be increasing the amount of money people spend on PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus is already expensive as it is, so to have that go up by another amount, it's just, again, I really don't know where we go from here. People are, having conversations of, you go to, switch to PC. Getting a proper PC, if that's, the way to describe it. Getting a proper PC in this day and age is expensive. When I say it's expensive, you would need to, it needs to be an investment. Basically needs to be an investment to get a PC in this day and age that can handle, the games that are coming out nowadays. You need a heavy PC to handle even, a little bit of the games that are coming out nowadays. It's very, very expensive to switch to PC. And again, the problem in the gaming space at the moment is affordability. Everything is expensive nowadays. We're not even talking about gaming, real life. Everything is just expensive. So I don't think the option for switching to to PC is going to be an option that most people can't consider, because, as I said, it's expensive. Getting a console, a one-time console where you don't have to upgrade, where you don't have to worry about having to change components in the console if things do go out of date, it's more affordable than actually getting a PC. And again, I'm sure Sony have considered all of this into taken all of this into consideration before they made this announcement of the physical media. So they've thought this through. They have unfortunately thought this through. The only thing we can hope for is a legal battle. Maybe a Stop Killing Games gets a petition out, someone sues them and then makes them change their decision. But the thing is, I think even if they do change their decision, they're still gonna do it eventually. It might not be today, it might not be next year, it might not be 2028, but if it's coming soon. There's going to be a time, very soon in the near future, we're going to look at gaming and it's going to be only digital. And unfortunately as well, there are a lot of people on online who are supporting this decision. I think if you're supporting this decision, you're wrong, by the way, because you look at, this is not even like a opinion thing. I think factually you are wrong, because you think of the situation with digital games. You don't own digital games. You can get stripped from the digital game you've bought with your hard-earned money for no reason at all. If your account gets hacked, your games are gone. I haven't heard anyone come out and say, oh, my account got hacked, my Sony account got hacked and then I got it back from, Sony or something like that. If your account gets hacked, you're gone. If you get banned, your account is gone as well. Your games, your game library, everything is gone. I don't think they're going to transfer your games from one library to another. If you get banned, that's it. If your account gets stolen, that's it. If Sony wake up one morning and decide, you know what, God of War Ragnarok has been in the system for a while. No one is really buying that game anymore. We want to strip it out from our, storefront. It's gone from your library as well. So if you spend $100 on a game, a digital version of a game, you can lose that game any day, for whatever reason. It's all up to the discretion of the publisher. You can lose that game any second. You could be playing the game and the screen will just go black. You log in, your game is gone. Everything. And that is what physical media preserves. There are people who have rare games, like games that have been scrapped from the digital cyberspace, from some publishers. But there are some people who have access to those games because they have physical media. Those games might be trash, granted, those games might be trash, but those games are still there. They are kind of, a time capsule that we can look back and say, you know what, in the year 2000 and whatever, this game was released and it was trash. It's kind of a remembrance that, oh, this company released this bad game and, they've gone leaps and bounds and gone from that bad game to this good game. It's kind of like a history. Kind of like a history. Because if we don't have the evidence that this company made this game, at whatever time, how do we know how they progressed? How do we know a company went from making bad games to now making good games? Or how do we know a company went from making good games to now making bad games if we don't have evidence of that? If it's all going to be scrapped eventually. If a company wants to scrap a game from the cyberspace, they just have to reach out to the publisher. Hey, Sony, you know what? We made this game. It didn't really bank as much as we thought it was going to bank. How much do we got to pay you guys to scrap it off your servers and then, we start from square one all over again? It's possible. It's very possible. These are one of, some of the possibilities that might happen with this whole physical media getting eradicated. And people think Xbox are smart enough to actually, capitalize on this opportunity. This is the easiest layup for any console, for any company that has a console in the world. This is the easiest layup I have ever seen in my life in the gaming space. If you're a console, a company that has a console, this is the easiest layup. But I can guarantee you these dumbasses are going to go the same route. Xbox are going to go the same route. Maybe later in the year or maybe next year, they're also going to announce that they're going digital. I would be absolutely surprised if Xbox, launched the new Xbox with a disc, a disc drive for physical media. I would be very, very, very surprised. I don't think they're going to go that way. But yeah, this is the future, unfortunately. This is the future. Canceling PS Plus, buying physical games, again, I can't even in good conscience tell people not to pirate games. Obviously don't pirate games. It's illegal. Don't do that. If you get caught, you might do, time. But this is obviously going to, push more people into the pirating space. It's most definitely going to push more people into the pirating space. It's going to push more people into the jailbreaking space. It's a snowball. It's a snowball effect. There's going to be a whole lot more things that happen with this decision being made, because this is not a good, I don't agree with this. I really don't agree with this. But yeah, I really don't know where we go from here. I really don't know what's we do from here, because now if Sony stick to this decision, it means by 2028, 2029, 2030, consumers cannot own anything. It means if you buy any game on PlayStation 6, you're not going to be owning it. You're just going to make things things are just going to be more difficult for gamers, and the consumers are never being taken into consideration. Never being taken into consideration. It's just money everywhere. And they keep forgetting that if the consumers can't pay for these things, you're gonna lose the money. Gaming cannot become a luxury. It cannot become a luxury hobby, because gaming should be for everyone. Gaming should be in a space where everyone can afford it. Kids can afford it, adults can afford it, even people who don't have jobs should be able to afford gaming. Gaming should never become something that only if you have money you can invest in, because if that's the case, you're going to lose a whole lot of people. You're going to lose a whole lot of people if gaming becomes a hobby that you need money to engage in. Gaming used to be a hobby where I can just buy a console, go over to my friend's house. Hey, you got the new game? I'll be interested in getting it when you're done playing. That's what gaming used to be. I remember I played, what was it? Well, I think it was one of the Resident Evils. I played one of the Resident Evils on PlayStation 4 from the disc I got from one of my friends. That was my first introduction to Resident Evil, by the way. I, got the PlayStation 4 from my uncle, by the way, and he basically gave me the console, and I didn't have any games on it. And I, again, didn't know where to get the games and all that. And I went to school one day, and one of my friends was like, hey, I got Resident Evil, and I've been playing it for some time. It's been very fun. Didn't know what the game was. I was like, hey, you know what? I'd be interested in getting that. If you're done playing the game, I'd be interested in seeing how the game feels like. I got a new PS4. I want to test it out. And that's how I got introduced into, Resident Evil. And these experiences are how some other people out there who don't have the resources, who don't have the opportunity to go out there and get games themselves. A lot of people are also in privileged positions where you can sit in your house and get, purchase digital games. That's cool. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But to scrap physical games entirely, I mean, where do we go from here? Where do we really go from here? Do I think PlayStation or Sony are going to track back on this decision? No. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think so. I don't think PlayStation and Sony are going to make a change on this decision. And this is the most, I don't know if depressed is the word to use, but I would say depressed that I have felt about gaming in the field. I'm not even that excited about GTA 6 anymore. Like, I was hyped. When I say I was hyped. When the pre-orders released, I went through the screenshots. I, read through the stuff. Obviously, the Ultimate Edition thing was a little bit of a concern. But regardless of that, I was still hyped. And I kind of also had a feeling that, for the sake of the fans and the people who are, very dedicated to Rockstar, they were going to have a physical release. I thought that was going to be the case. So I was very hyped about GTA 6 coming out, because I was like, this is going to be very exciting. This is one of the biggest games in the past decade that everyone has been anticipating. The trailer 3 is going to come out very soon. But at the moment, I don't even know if it's a good thing to be excited about GTA 6 anymore. Obviously, to each their own. And if you want to be excited about GTA 6, you can be. But I look at the situation, and there's really nothing to be excited about in the gaming space now, because it's just bad news after bad news after bad news after bad news. And again, consumers are the ones being affected by this whole ordeal and situation going on in the gaming space. But I really don't know where we go from here. I really don't know where we move on and go from here, because I'm expecting more bad news. And at this point, I really am expecting more bad news. The worst thing you can think can happen is most likely going to happen in the gaming space. The worst thing you can ever think can happen in the gaming space is most likely going to happen, because at this point, what's off the table? Honestly speaking, at this point, what is off the table? But yeah, let's hope for the best. That's really all I can say. Let us hope for the best, and let's hope that things do get better in the space, and hopefully things change. I don't know how things are gonna change, but we do hope that things do change, and we can get some more consumer friendly news coming out. I mean, this would be a great time for a company to come out and announce a new console that would be, accommodating for physical media. But yeah, you never know. We'll never really know.